Pathological narcissists are people that are living through their ego. So they are predominantly their ego. And they are predominantly their ego because they abandoned their true self for a false self. In the narcissistic entanglement, if you are wondering why you could really never get to know the person, well, technically you couldn't know the true them because they don't exist. What you were interacting with was their false self. The thing about egos is that egos do not have the ability to self-reflect. An ego can only project. This is why pathological narcissists are unable to self-reflect. What they will do is project all of their deep-seated shame, guilt, anger, and rage onto you. This is why they also need so much attention, validation, and your energy, because you're trying to boost their ego. Scott Peck, psychiatrist and author, defines evil as the inability to self-reflect. So understand that pathological narcissists have the inability to self-reflect because they abandoned their true self. Instead, they adopted a false self, that which we call the ego or the mask. I mentioned before that we are spirit operating a human body with access to tools such as our mind power, our willpower, and our emotions. Now, for pathological narcissists, they are not spirit. They have identified with their mind. This is because they believe that they are their ego. Now, I mentioned to you before that the mind is a tool that you use to make decisions. If pathological narcissists believe that they are their mind, then you're dealing with someone that is losing their minds. You are dealing with a captain that abandoned their ship. This person is in the back seat and nobody is operating the vehicle. Essentially, you're dealing with someone that is programmed for destruction because nobody is there to operate the different tools. Nobody is there to operate the different faculties that they were assigned. So if someone abandons their spirit, they're also disconnecting from their mind. And this is why on one level, pathological narcissism, narcissistic personality disorder, is classified as a mental illness. Other times you will hear me describe pathological narcissists as lost souls or dark souls. This is because if you, the life force, steps out, then darkness has to step in. You may also be familiar with the phrase, nature abhors a vacuum. And I mentioned to you before that when it comes to the law of conservation or the law of thermodynamics, that a system always has to have the same amount of energy unless it is added in from the outside. So if you, the consciousness, steps out, then unconsciousness has to step in.